Do you want to know what the best part about seeing this movie for me was? This. It's the fact that I bought this. I never buy these kind of things. If you don't know what this is a popcorn holder. You know, you put popcorn here. So yeah, movie theaters have this all the time. I never buy these kind of things, but I saw this and I was like, this is cool, so I'll get it. And now it's just gonna sit back there in the background of my videos. So, if you didn't gather by the helmet, today we're gonna be doing a review for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now, before we get started, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And I just want to tell you that this is going to be a spoiler review. And also, I just want to tell you that I'm not going to talk about everything that's in the movie. I'm going to try to cover as much as possible, but I don't feel like talking about every single plot point in the movie. Alright, so Ant-Man and the Wasp, the general premise is that there's a signal coming out of the quantum realm. We got the Ant-Man family, they're very close related to the quantum realm, and they get sucked into it, and we find out what the quantum realm looks like. It's this world with these creatures and sometimes human-looking people, and a broccoli-looking person, whatever. It looks like that. It's all funky and wacky, but it's run by this guy, the Conqueror, Kang the Conqueror, who's supposed to be like the next Thanos of the MCU. He's the next big baddie. We saw him in Loki. So let's just get right to it. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is now officially the second lowest rated Rotten Tomato movie in the MCU. The first one was Eternals. And I just want to say, okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way of Eternals. I'm low-key an Eternals defender, because I don't think Eternals was as bad as people say it was. I don't think it's like great, but I don't think it's as bad as people say it was. It did not deserve to be the first rotten MCU movie. First of all, there should have been rotten MCU movies because there was mid before the Eternals. But the Eternals is not that bad. But I can happily say that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is that bad, as its score says. It's not a great start for Phase 5. This is the first movie in Phase 5 with the big bad Kang, you know? He's the next Thanos. And really, the movie was just really underwhelming and very lackluster. First thing that I did not like the quantum realm design. It looked goofy. It looked way too wacky for me. It looked like another planet that should be in the Star Wars world. They go to like a bar. All the creatures kind of look like they belong in a Star Wars movie. They have these guys in the movie that look like the Tusken Raiders. I thought they were the Tusken Raiders. So it's like, yeah, the quantum realm just looks really goofy. And again, some people are human. Some people are not human. Some people are broccoli heads. It's just like, what are the rules? Or are we just going with the fact that it's the quantum realm? There are no rules. Oh, and the human part, Bill Murray's in this movie. Bill Murray was just here to cash in a 30-second check. He's here. He does pretty much nothing. He says that he's a human and that he banged Michelle Pfeiffer. So congrats to you for that. You know what I realized about the quantum realm? Is that the thing that I like about the Ant-Man movies, this movie did not have completely. So in the first Ant-Man movie, I think the first Ant-Man movie is like, it's good, sure. I don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp, but in those two movies, what I've always given them credit for is the fun that they had with the Pym tech, right? Because they would take ordinary, everyday object, like this glass, for example. They'd take this thing that we know, and then make it big or make it small and use it in some cool action sequence. They take things that we know, right? So we're like, haha, yeah. I remember in the second movie, there was a great kitchen fight with Wasp, and she threw a salt shaker and made it big and blocked this guy's exit out. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And they had the tiny cars. Yep. So the thing that I already liked about the first two Ant-Man movies, even though I'm not like a huge fan of them, not in this movie at all. When they're in a quantum realm, they're not really making everyday objects that we know and having fun with them and creating fun, unique action sequences with them. They're not doing that anymore. In this movie, all that happens is they get really small and do something. They do this punch thing where he pops up and punches, and he teaches Cassie how to do that. And he gets really big and starts straight up just punching people. No real pizzazz in anything. No real creativity in this stuff anymore. Also makes me think that, like, in the past, Scott was in the quantum realm for 5 hours, he said, which was 5 years for us. And then I'm pretty sure Hank in the second movie went into the quantum realm for a little bit to get his wife. Was Wasp with him? She probably was with him. Whatever. I don't really remember that movie. But did they not see that? Is the quantum realm not just like empty cosmic space? No, there's like a world there. Or did they go like, I think they said they went like even smaller to go into that world. I mean, they're just gonna keep going smaller and smaller and smaller. A positive for this movie, there are actually some cool shots in this movie, but this movie is clearly very heavily shot in a warehouse with a bunch of green screen. Sometimes the CGI doesn't look that great, and I'm already not a big fan of the world design, so I was not really into it at all. And the other most obvious thing that I really don't like about this movie is the writing. Kevin Feige, please stop hiring these ex-Rick and Morty writers. I don't know if you have noticed, but some of these writers recently, if you look at their IMDb page, which is basically their resume, some of them have Rick and Morty in their background. This guy who wrote this movie has Rick and Morty in his background. And he's gonna write Kang Dynasty, which this Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was not a great showing, and I'm low-key worried. Please do a better job in Kang Dynasty. Thanks. If you want proof of this track record, Michael Waldron, who wrote Loki Season 1, which I really like Loki Season 1, so he was really good there, but then he got tasked with writing Doctor Strange 2, which was like, it was iffy. The script, the plot was definitely its weakest point. But now he's going to write Secret Wars. I'll give Michael Waldron a pass because Loki Season 1 was really good. And then there was a lady who wrote She-Hulk. She also has Rick and Morty in her background. And She-Hulk, well, I really don't like She-Hulk. So stop hiring these Rick and Morty writers. Please. Writing-wise, the movie has everything that people have been complaining about with Marvel nowadays. Everybody quips. They got terrible quips. It's like they don't really pay attention to what people say nowadays, because there's been a lot of chatter online and just in general about how corny all these jokes are now in the MCU and how the MCU keeps doing them, but they still keep doing them, and it just becomes this kind of parody of itself. Also, it felt like the writing didn't know how to utilize some characters. They were like, let's get the entire Ant-Man family into the quantum realm, and then they were like, okay, but once they're down there, what are each one of them going to do? Well, we only have kind of a plot for Scott and his daughter, but what about everybody else? What about Hope? What about Hank? What about what's the mom, Michelle Pfeiffer's character? What about her? What are they gonna do? Nothing. No, they're just gonna walk around for a bit, and Michelle Pfeiffer's character is gonna kind of like extend the plot by like not telling people information, which I hate. I hate when they do this in movies. If you're down there and if you're in a bad situation and you got people with you and you need to survive, it's easier if you quickly explain to them what's going on here so that they can move forward and they know what they're looking at. If you're walking around being like, shh, I'll tell you later, okay? We gotta stay quiet right now. I can't tell you this, okay? Until at a certain point towards the end of the movie when I will tell you everything. But right now, I'm gonna be very frustrating and I'm not gonna tell you anything, okay? Just follow me and stop asking questions. On that side, I don't even know why the movie is called Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's like they called the second one Ant-Man and the Wasp, so they were like, I guess this is Ant-Man, this is what the Ant-Man movies are gonna be like now. It's called Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it really should just be called Ant-Man and Kang, if anything. The Wasp, she doesn't really do anything in this movie. She just pops in and out occasionally. Michael Douglas, there were certain points in the movie where it kind of becomes clear that this man has no idea what he's looking at. Again, I'm telling you, I think this movie is like fully digital, so they probably shot a lot of it in a warehouse on a blue screen with a tennis ball in front of them. And they were like, Michael, just, I don't know, there's like a quantum realm creature in front of you. And those designs probably weren't even finished for those. So there's sometimes you look at the close-up shot of his face, and you can tell that his acting, I can't tell if he phoned it in for this movie. Maybe he did after he read the script. He was like, yeah, this is ass. I'm not going to do this. But you can tell that sometimes guy has no idea what's going on. There's a specific scene right towards the end where I noticed this with him, right? So at the end, right, the portal is closing. They open the portal to go home from the quantum realm, right? Scott is the last one to walk through the portal, and boom, all of a sudden Kang attacks. So now Scott can't get to the portal's closing. Then Hope walks through the portal to help him, and boom, the portal closes. Cassie is standing right in front of the portal. We'll get to Cassie in a second. Cassie's like, Dad! Which is like 90% of her dialogue is just saying Dad, right? And Michael Douglas is standing behind her like this, with this kind of face. Scott and your daughter just got trapped in the quantum realm. Cassie is yelling for her dad, because I guess she had to have a reaction. You're not gonna have like a reaction to your daughter being trapped in the quantum realm, that portal closed? He had no reaction, zero reaction to that moment. That moment was also stupid. Why would you even do that? You did it for like a quick second and then went back on it right away. I thought for a second, I was like, oh, okay, this is an interesting way they took the story. So Scott and Hope are now stuck in the quantum realm. Okay, we'll see how they solve this in the future. Nope. 30 seconds later, Cassie types away, opens the portal, which I don't even know what she opened the portal with, because in the beginning of the movie, when they're in that lab, everything in that lab got sucked into the portal. So what the hell does she use to turn on the portal again? Made no sense. Now that I'm on the topic of Cassie, so she's the new addition to the Ant-Man family. Cassie Lang, she's much older now and recasted. She looks different. Catherine Newton plays her, and a lot of people are hyped to see her in the movie. I haven't really seen her in anything. I know she's been in a few movies over the past couple of years that a lot of people, praised her a lot for, and they were really excited when she got cast in this movie. The script did not help her. I did not like Cassie Lang. I think this was not a great first showing for her. Like I said, 90% of her dialogue is just yelling for her dad. She's just standing in her purple suit and just keeps yelling, Dad! Dad, you got this! Dad, you gotta do this! Dad, come on! And then she runs. In the whole third act, she does an entire marathon in a circle. In the beginning of the movie, she has the most cliche moments ever, She was arrested and then she comes out of jail like all cool and stuff, and the police officer's like, where is it? And she's like, I got your police car right here because I'm so smart and you're stupid. Haha. Peace. That wasn't even the worst part of the beginning of the movie. The worst part in the beginning of the movie is when they're all sitting at this table and they're eating pizza or whatever, and she looks at her own dad, who saved the world. This man came back from the quantum realm, solved everything, suggested the time travel idea going into the quantum realm to bring everybody back. He was a crucial part in that movie. She looks at him and she goes, yeah, but like, what do you do now, huh? You used to save the world. You do nothing now. You wrote your book. Well, you think that book's good? You don't save the world anymore. You do nothing. I don't know why they chose to introduce her character with that dialogue of her yelling at Ant-Man, Scott Lang, who we like. We like Paul Rudd as Scott. We like him. Tell him that he's been doing nothing and that's a bad thing. This man saved the world. He deserves a break. He can write his own book and just party up. He saved the world. What are you talking about? I don't remember you doing anything for 5 years. You weren't doing anything. You were alive. You didn't even get dusted. You weren't doing anything. You weren't solving shit. Your dad came in, solved everything, saved everybody. What did you do, Cassie? Nothing. You did nothing. Oh, and also she's another kid genius in the MCU. We got a bunch of those nowadays. Every kid is smart. If you can't make a quantum portal in the MCU at this point and you're like 19 years old, you're a failure in life. Why are you still even alive? Honestly, majority of the performances from the Ant-Man family kind of phoned it in. Also, I'm going to kind of blame the script for not helping them out. Paul Rudd does his Paul Rudd Ant-Man thing. In his movies, he was never like, Paul Rudd's giving a fantastic performance. He's always giving a good performance. He was giving a good performance in here. Sure. The big performance of the movie, which is a positive, but also kind of a negative that I'll get to, is Jonathan Majors as Kang. Jonathan Majors as Kang is giving a very good performance. Not a great performance, but a very good performance as Kang. But when you see him on screen as Kang, and he's all menacing and he's all evil, it feels like he's acting in a completely different movie. He himself, it started to feel like he's in a completely different movie. Peyton Reed, when he was directing him, he gave him completely different notes to what he was directing with everybody else in the movie. Kang was really menacing, but the movie was not matching his energy. I really wish the movie matched his energy instead of him coming down to their level. If the movie matched Kang's energy, then it would have been better, I think. His second appearance, right? So he was in Loki. He was really good at the end of Loki. I enjoyed him in that one. And then I guess he's going to be in Loki season 2 because of the very post-credit scene. Excited to see him in that. But from this movie, he just felt like a standard Marvel, standalone Marvel villain that's giving a pretty good performance here. I never really got the sense that I was like, okay, he is the next Thanos. He is the next big bad guy. It's kind of the second time now, because we all saw him in Loki. It's kind of the second time now that he's just standing there and saying, my variants, My other variants were bad. We're bad. We're coming. You unleash us? Oh, it's bad. Second time now. I wonder how much more they're gonna drag this out with him giving these threats. I kind of just want to see the explosion now, the fight, the war. Which, I mean, I guess the hype is kind of working the build. But I don't know. In this movie, I never really felt like, I never sat back and was like, damn, this guy is the next Thanos. We really should be looking for him. Guy got bullied by some ants. He did at a certain point. Oh, and you know that super hype moment in the trailer where he's beating the absolute piss out of Ant-Man? Yeah, it happens in the movie. It's kind of cool, but like it's at the end and the entire movie was kind of meh. So at the end when you get there, that moment doesn't really feel earned. And then when it happens, again, it feels extremely out of place. And also at a certain point, I was like, oh shit, he might like, he's gonna kill Ant-Man here, but the movie plays it really safe. Hope comes through. You know, Hope saves the day, kind of. They blow this thing up. Kang is not actually dead. We all saw that he got sucked into this thing. He went like, blech. He went like that. No, he's not actually dead. And even if he's actually dead, I guess there's going to be another variant of him. But why would you do another variant of him? Like, variants are cool, but if you're playing this character and you're like, every single movie there's going to be another one, and it's a completely different one, but it's the same one because it's a variant. How are people supposed to get attached? This one definitely is going to take a break. He disappeared somewhere for a little bit. He'll be back soon for probably Kang Dynasty. I don't know. There was a post-credit scene with him with like the Council of Kangs. That felt weird. That was shot weirdly, and the costumes weren't great there. He comes out like a pharaoh, and I looked at my friend. I was like, "Why is he a pharaoh?" And my friend kind of explained it to me as like one of his variants. And I was like, well, they could have gave him a better costume. He looks really silly. We could have done better here. Why does this feel like you guys threw it together at the last moment here? This could have been much better done. Like, it looks silly. And probably the final point that I want to hit on is MODOK. Holy shit, that thing looked terrible. Oh my god. MODOK, okay, so MODOK is going to be a very divisive thing, right? Because I had a friend who messaged me on Instagram saying, no, MODOK was great. There's some people who will find MODOK like really funny and his goofy look like good. It works for them. But holy shit, that thing looked bad. That's the worst thing I've ever seen in the MCU. Get that off my screen, please. I just said that in the theater. I was like, oh my god. Get it off my screen. What is that? Put the mask back on. You look decent with the mask. I like the mask. But dude, when he opens the mask, that was the most goofy thing ever. Reminded me of like Spy Kids, George Lopez in that one Shark Boy Lava Girl movie. It looked goofy as hell. And also, why did you bring back Yellow Jacket, Darren Cross, and make him into MODOK? Is that like a plot point in the comics? Why do that? Honestly, when I watched the first movie, I was like, oh, well, Yellow Jacket's dead. I was never like, oh, I wonder where Yellow Jacket went. No, you could have just killed him and made MODOK somebody else. Although I will be honest, he had a line that got the most kind of chuckle or laughter out of me is when he was dying and he went, I'm gonna die an Avenger. I was like, okay, that's a good one. But please put your mask back on. Oh my god, I can't look at you. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was definitely a movie Marvel Studios made and released. It was written by somebody. Payne redirected it again. And then he released it, yeah. For the first Phase 5 movie, this isn't good. When people have already been disappointed with Phase 4, and then we jump into this, yeah, not great. Not great at all. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is next, and James Gunn's behind that. And we love the Guardians. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I can tell you 100% that I think it's going to be really good. This one, I really didn't know what to expect, and it's not. So yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Let me know down in the comments, what did you think about it? I would love to have a discussion with you about that. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, check us out my other videos. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.